Hey everyone, this is Jennifer, and you're listening to the second episode of our Black Ops Toys Story show. This episode will be on YouTube and YouTube Podcast. In this show, Sully and I tell the story of when we met, and I talk about when I knew Black Ops Toys would be a thing. We also tell the story of our very first toy show and how scary and fun it was. We do mention an old video we made a few years ago, and that link is in the show notes below. All right. Here we go.
Hi everyone, Sully and Jenn here from Black Ops Toys.
Yes.
Coming at you today with
More talking.
with more talking. All right.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today?
Yeah. Well, first we put out the video of us talking about how you got started.
Yes.
And like your toy collections as a young person, my toy collections. Mm-hmm. And then when you knew Black Ops Toys was going to be a thing. And it was surprising how many people watched it and how much feedback we got.
So.
Yeah. So we're going to do it some more.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Ladies first.
Well, the first thing that people wanted to know was we mentioned in the other video that there's a story about how we met. And we said that's a story for another day.
We did. So
let's do it. All right. So how we met.
How we met.
Where do you want to start?
So when I came back from Japan after teaching English, I started working at Best Buy. And later I worked at Best Buy and then Magnolia Home Theater, and I met Jennifer at Best Buy. And what did you do at Best Buy?
Oh, I worked in the Geek Squad, but
Go figure.
I was getting a divorce.
Right.
I was going through a divorce. And I had been working for a company doing their like database PHP stuff for a while, and it wasn't full time. Mm-hmm. And I had up to that point really been more of a part-time worker, stay-at-home mom person.
Right.
And so here I needed a full-time job, and really the only thing I was good at was web design because I made that a hobby when I was in college and the kids were really little, and I got a job doing that for a while, and I did database stuff. And so I had a friend whose brother managed the Best Buy you worked at.
Okay.
And so I applied, and my friend called his brother, and right as I did that, his brother got moved to district, mm-hmm. and there was a new manager at the store. So I was like, I didn't know if I was going to get the job. Plus, Best Buy makes you do this whole personality, like, oh my gosh, so many questions to make sure that you're like a regular blue shirt, you know?
Clearly, I didn't ace that test.
No, I think you did great. Your feet are squeaking on the chair. I think you did great. I mean, we must have passed the test, right?
Yeah.
We must have been and had the personalities that they were looking for at Best Buy.
Yay!
Yeah. Yeah, so I got hired on in Geek Squad, and I was behind the counter doing mostly service-related tickets for broken cameras and laptops and TVs and computers and anything else. I checked it in and sent it off to service, which is how I ended up seeing you, although I really didn't pay any attention to you for months because where
was that located? Which part of the store?
Well, I worked in the front.
Okay, so front.
And then I worked in the front of the store behind the like Geek Squad, like the front-facing facade. So there was like all the Geek Squad people and the computers, and I worked behind there. And you worked in?
I worked in the home theater department. So back in the day, we used to have these things called huge speakers and big TVs, and I sold all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was in the back of the store.
In the back of the store, and I worked behind the wall in the front of the store by the manager's cubicle. And then what I would do once a day is I would take everything that needed service with the tickets. Mm-hmm. I'd put it in a cart, and I would run the cart back through the back of the store and way back into the shipping warehouse storage part of the store. And I would use their like inventory, is that what it's called?
Computer back there, yeah.
Yeah, their computer back there to do the UPS and box everything up and get it ready to ship out. And that's where like
So I noticed her because she would walk to the back of the store and I'd see her walk by, and I thought to myself, she's kind of cute. I think the outfit that she had to wear was cute. I think you had tight jeans.
I had to wear the black pants, the white shirt with the tie, and then the little Geek Squad lanyard.
Yeah.
I lot like the Nerd Herd on that TV show.
With glasses?
Chuck. I probably wore glasses back then, and I had to have my hair neat.
Yep.
Like, it couldn't be messy. I had to have my hair back. But yeah, like the black, I wore the whole Geek Squad suit.
Right.
Right. And I would, go back in there, and I really didn't notice anybody. I didn't notice you. It wasn't personal. I didn't notice you. I didn't notice anybody. I went in the back. I did my job. I shipped stuff out. I called people on the phone. And most of the time I was just thinking like, how did I end up here in my life? Getting a divorce and working in Geek Squad. That's really, I was
blinders on. She had blinders on.
I was in a fog for months while I worked there.
Yeah.
And then, one day you came back. I remember I was back in the back of the store, and you came in the back, and you did this little shake of your head, just like that in back.
Yeah.
And you made a joke. Like, you said something that was supposed to be funny, and you laughed. And I think the guy next to me laughed, and I looked at you, and I was just like, what is this guy about? I just had no idea. You were just an odd dude. I
was pretty one-liners, so.
Yeah, one-liners.
Good salesperson.
Well, like chicks dig it.
Chicks dig it. Yeah. I said that a lot.
And you would sit outside, because we smoked back then. Yeah. I smoked back then just to get through the stress of life. And we would sit outside and smoke, and the manager would get irritated because there was too many blue shirts smoking out front of the store. But you would always have the clipboard, and you would be sitting there
I crossed my legs. I have long legs.
You're tall.
Long torso, long legs. But I crossed my legs.
You did, and you would smoke, and you would do this whole thing with the cigarette. And so I actually, for a while, thought that you were gay. Cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So that's how we met. And we worked at the same store for, 4 or 5 months, didn't we? And then that summer, there was the employee picnic. Mm-hmm. And so I put the kids in my beat-up car that I think got a flat tire on the way to the Best Buy picnic. And I eventually made it there. And we were hanging out and doing all the things. And there was a group of employees that I knew would come in and out. I could see them come in and out. They would come in and eat food, and you would talk. Yeah. And you would make nice with the manager and stuff. And then you would disappear. I was like, where are these guys going?
The cool kids.
The smokers.
Going around the corner in the bushes.
Because they couldn't smoke around the families.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. I can go smoke with everybody else. So I got up and I went and found where everybody was. And you were there.
I was there.
And I don't know what it was that gave you the courage, but do you remember what you said?
I said something like, do you want to go get dinner or something?
You said, you should let me take you out on a great date.
Oh, man, I did say that.
You did.
See?
Yeah.
Take notes.
We were just talking about, stuff and whatever. And then, you said that. Mm-hmm. You said you should, and you did the whole little...
What'd you say?
I said something like, yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
But also, I didn't know if you were serious.
Yeah.
Because I think I remember too, I was a little surprised that you weren't gay.
It's hard to cross your legs.
When you're that tall.
When you're that tall. And not have them overlapping each other versus this.
Well, and also I would imagine your knee is probably.
Yeah. Anyway, point being, I'm the farthest thing from.
Right, yeah. I got that now.
All right.
I got that now.
All right.
So yeah, it was the next day at the store, I got your number, and you got my number, and you said you'd call, and then you called, and we set up some time to go for a date. But I do remember after that, was it after our first date or before our first date when you ran into the break room? Because you were a weirdo.
I was a weirdo, yeah.
I think you still are a weirdo, but oh my goodness. Because you were young. Well, we were all young, but you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the break room. This should have been maybe a clue to not
So
go.
what she was getting into.
That's funny. I was going to say not go on a date with you, but yeah, what I was getting into. You ran into the break room and you crop dusted all the people in there, and everybody was like, oh, Brian, rah, and all this stuff.
That guy.
And he just had, and it's like you saw me and you were so embarrassed. You were like, oh, I didn't know she'd be in here when I was going to do that. And then you just ran right out of there. Yeah. But we did have a nice first date. We had really good food. We sat at a table outside. We played Uno. Then we went and played darts.
Darts, yeah.
And oddly, you know, I probably wasn't even all the way divorced at that point that we went out on our first date.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it had been a long process up to that point, but I do remember, like, and this is going to sound cheesy, but I do remember that, like, after that, like, we started dating, and without really saying a whole lot about it, we just didn't date anybody else.
Right.
Like, I really wasn't dating anybody else. You were dating, I think, somebody else when you asked me out on a date. But
I wasn't dating anybody. I'm sure I went out on dates.
Out on dates.
But yeah.
Yeah, you were actively out in the dating pool.
In the pool.
Like if Tinder was a thing back then, you would have been swiping.
I would have been so good.
I don't know which way you're supposed to swipe on Tinder, but you would have been swiping the way that you want to swipe when you want to date somebody. Right? Yeah, I think we said like a little bit, like I'm not going to date anybody else. Are you dating anybody else? And then
that was it.
That was it. Yeah. We just were dating, and then we were camping, and then we had friends, and then we were doing all kinds of things. It was just...
I had a lot of friends. So I was kind of the hub.
Yeah.
And I was the guy that planned stuff and went out and did things. And
You still are.
Yeah.
You still are. You still call people every weekend and are like, what are we going to do? We want to go do something. Do you want to go do something? And people say no or yes, but you're still like that person that's like, hey, what are we going to do?
I'm the glue. ADHD glue.
Yeah. And, so that was it.
So that's it. That's how we met.
Ooh, that was good. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, you were doing Black Ops Toys. And I started to help.
Yes.
And we have a whole other video, which we'll link to in the show notes, where we talked about the pizza shipping parties. Like, we would have people over once a week, right? And we would eat pizza, and we would write out all the customs forms and stamp everything. And we would have people come over, like, I don't know how many people, easily 5 or 6.
The best way to get somebody to help is to offer them pizza.
Yeah.
Or barbecue or whatever. But we always had, basically, come to my house, we're going to put stamps on packages, and you're going to get some food, watch a movie, or play some video games or something.
Yeah.
So
talk, laugh. It was fun. So we did that, and let's see. And then...
And then?
No, and then. And at some point, and I'm not exactly sure why, I think I was working for Best Buy, worked for Best Buy, and then at some point, didn't I have a little break in between Best Buy and a different job?
Yeah.
And I made your actual Black Ops Toys website.
Yeah.
It was like 2008.
You also went to a different store.
Oh, I did.
Tualatin.
Yeah. I grand opened the Tualatin Best Buy, and then I finished out my illustrious Best Buy career in Clackamas.
Now that's important. So when she went to a different store, there was a position created for me, and it was called HEA, Home Entertainment Advisor. I was one of the first people to get a bug, and I would go around to people's houses.
The bug, the car.
The car.
The car.
The Geek Squad
car.
The
Volkswagen bug that looked like a Geek Squad car.
And I was pretty much in charge of, I was kind of an HEA's home entertainment advisor, and essentially somebody would come to the store and we would say, that's a nice TV, this is a nice sound system, whatever. But the real way to experience that stuff and get the right thing would be to send me into their home, where I would do system design and get them that home theater experience they wanted. So I was basically utilized by every store in the district, and I would go all the way up to Vancouver, Washington, then all of Oregon pretty much. And I would do system design and sell these huge deals. And when I would get a deal done, I would take it into that store. And yeah, so
managers love to see him walk in the store.
Me.
They loved it. Yeah. They loved it. You could sell. I mean, there's that saying that like
ice to Eskimos.
Ice to an Eskimo, but also like beachfront property to someone in Arizona.
Right.
I mean, you could sell. You are always with the. I mean, you sold my mom this amazing sound system that she couldn't even hear because
she got a good deal on it.
She did get a good deal on it. Yeah. So as I moved around from store to store, I mean, it wasn't like I didn't see you once I wasn't at Beaverton. I ended up seeing he would just like pop into the store. Managers loved it. So yeah, and your job transitioned out in a hard way in 2010, and I had made the website in 2008. And so during those couple of years, we sort of had this really kind of dingy looking Black Ops Toys website. And I remember my original logo was like a balaclava mask from the CIA sad figure put over a skeleton with like a green, neon greenish background.
Mike Scram helped with that logo because he did the guns and stuff.
Oh no, that's the Cross Guns logo that came in 2010. No, my first logo. If you know about the Wayback Machine, remember?
Yeah.
Go look up Black Ops Toys like circa January 2009.
Yeah, I remember. It was great.
No, I was so proud of it, but it was so ugly.
Yeah, it was good.
I mean,
it was good. It's nostalgic. Maybe we should do a shirt with that old logo on it.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
But skulls, like skeletons, those kinds
skulls
of things.
Skulls are cool.
Call of Duty, I mean, they were pretty popular at the time.
Yep.
So I thought, oh gosh, it was really ugly though. And then we made the website with OS Commerce.
OS Commerce, my favorite thing in the entire world.
Well, yeah, it was free, which was
it's a great price.
Big selling point for us at the time.
As long as you knew somebody who
did web design.
Yeah.
So it was free. It had a database, and we just hosted it with like this cheesy little server company without a lot of support or security because I didn't know anything about that. We maxed out our database connections sometimes and would get these funky errors. And then also there was this email page in there that I didn't know about, and I put it out with the rest of the website, and all these companies who knew about it would exploit that and send out like spam
emails from us.
Yeah, it was a big learning thing for me because up to that point I had just made websites for companies and somebody else and did all that part, and I had to figure that out. So yeah, and then we come into 2010.
Yeah, 2010.
You lose your job.
Lose my job.
That was fun, and then 3 weeks later, I lost my job.
You lost your job.
Yeah.
So that's a story from another time.
Well, yeah, it was about that year though. Didn't we in 2010? Didn't we go to a toy show?
Yes. So. No, it was the year before that, probably.
I think it was 2010.
I think it was 2008.
No.
All right.
No, we'd have to look up that on Facebook for our pictures. No, Weekend of Heroes.
Yeah.
And we were living at the house with the basement, the unfinished basement. So that had to be...
Haunted.
That's
a story. All right, keep going.
Oh, that...
Let's go on Toy Show.
I totally forgot about that.
Focus.
I want to say it was like 2009 or 10 because I remember, so somebody asked on the last video and you made me answer that question. You sent me a text message and said you have to answer the comment that somebody made, the question they asked.
I did.
And it was, so last video I asked you when you knew that Black Ops Toys was a thing, like a thing that you could really do that would be your livelihood and your business and this fulfilling thing that you can do. And someone asked me the same question.
Right. So what's your answer?
It was that show. It was that Weekend of Heroes show.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Do you want to know why?
Why?
Ask me why.
Why? Why?
Well, We had all those parts. Oh my gosh.
So when you do toy show in person and you sell toy parts, there's a lot of work involved, like a lot of work. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that you have to have prepped so the customer can come to your booth and then be able to pick through and find stuff. So we spent weeks getting product and bagging it and then putting it in these bins. Like this was gear, this was guns, this was pistols, this was nude bodies,
Broken
bodies, clothing.
Oh.
We had to rent a van because I had, what kind of car did I have? I had an Evo MR, I think, back then.
You did, and I had a Hyundai Elantra.
Yeah.
I had like just a regular four
So-
doors. But first, in the living room, like we had bins
Yeah.
everywhere for weeks and weeks. I went out and got a little price gun at Office Max.
2 price guns.
And that would hold up things to you,
Yeah.
like a uniform or a shirt or a helmet. I'd be like, how much? And you would be $10.
Yeah.
And I would put $10 on the thing, and I would put it on the plastic bag. Oh, the plastic bags, we had to bag everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would put it on the plastic bag, and I was thinking to myself, and I was like,
You were like, cheaper. Cheaper.
I was.
You're kidding. Cheaper.
I was like, you're kidding.
Nobody's going to pay that.
Nobody's going to buy it for this. Pretty much that was like weeks of our existence.
Yeah.
We were watching True Blood at the time, remember?
Yeah.
On DVD.
Yeah.
And we would just queue up an episode of True Blood and let the DVD play through while we sat and priced and bagged and sorted all this stuff getting ready. And so, yeah, get to the van. We rented like a Chevy Astro or something like that.
It was it was a big van. We had to take the seats out, and we went down there with Brian and
Yeah. Brian Lowy, who's
my best friend.
Yeah, who helped. He's like the original eBay
Yeah.
Black Ops Toys person who helped you with
still
everything.
helps out.
Yeah. And then Mike, who was also our friend, who worked at Best Buy with
Right.
us. And he, at that point in time, needed a job, so he was the one taking pictures and listing the
Making
products
listings,
online.
yeah.
So the four of us drove down all the way to LA.
The van was stuffed.
Top to bottom.
Yeah.
Top to bottom.
And we had a huge space though too. We had a huge space to fill, so you could get a booth space for like $80, and I think I got 3 or 4 booth
tables.
spaces. And
Yeah.
these are, probably 8-foot tables.
Yeah.
And so times that by whatever, and you needed to have that much stuff to go.
We drove down with everything, but then we got there, we had no tablecloths, we had no banner, we had nothing that said Black Ops Toys on it, and we went to Target in like some sort of city in LA. It was a Target that had escalators.
It was in California.
Like it had escalators in it.
Yeah.
It was amazing. They had the carts that. It
Yeah,
was so cool. So we got more bins because we brought down mail bins, U.S. mail bins.
Yeah.
We bought a whole bunch of plastic bins, and we bought tablecloths. And
We had a sign made.
did we?
Yeah. We had a sign printed.
Okay. Yeah. So we did that thing. You were so nervous.
I was-
So let's talk about how nervous you were. Go ahead.
I was so nervous because, back in the day, like prep and spending money on product to hopefully sell it, and you're driving to California and gas and hotel, and it was a lot. It was, for me, it was expensive at the time, and
Yeah,
I'm
it
kind of
was.
like, I hope this freaking works, because we spent time, we're paying people, we got a booth, we had the hotel, we had the gas, we had, because you're on the road for 2 days.
Yeah. We stopped at your mom's.
Both ways, yeah.
We stopped at your mom's. We actually unloaded the van and priced a whole bunch more
Yeah,
stuff that
and we were
didn't
still
have.
pricing
Yeah.
when we opened the show.
Yeah, we were. Little price gun. And you broke out in hives,
I broke out in hives.
like top to bottom, big
Yeah.
welty hives, and it was just nerves.
Yeah,
It was nerves. Also, the van had this big hatch that opened in the back and a little button that you press from the front of the car to the van to close the hatch. And we were all done stuffing the whole van with things, and I was in the driver's seat and you were walking away, and I pushed the button to load the door down, and you walked right into
Yeah,
it when
I
you
had a
turned
huge
back.
gash.
A huge gash.
So this is all right before the
Oh.
show. Yeah. So
Yeah, we were so nervous. You were so
yeah.
nervous.
It was a huge take. It was
Undertaking.
taking a chance, and that's
was-
kind of
Pure faith.
Yeah, pure faith. That's going to work.
Yeah. So we get down there. I don't even remember what city it was in.
Pump.
Start with a P. Pomona. And we get all set up. And Echo-based toys, I remember, they were like kitty corner to us. And there was other people there. Like, it was a pretty big show for what it was, right?
For what it was, yeah. I mean, this was like the show on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Because they're rare, and especially for 1/6 scale, it's dedicated. Very rare now. I don't know. I don't even know that there are any per se, but
I don't think there are.
Back in the day, this was the shit. And Merit was a manufacturer vendor down there, and they were bringing an exclusive to the show as well. So you could only get the exclusive there. So that was a pretty big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, we got all set up. Triad Toys was there. I remember that.
Triad Toys, yeah.
And people walked around, and the show opened. People walked around. They walked around, and we're standing there. There's the four of us, and we're standing there. We're like, oh my gosh. People looked. People walk by, and they do that look, but they don't want to make eye contact with us because they didn't want to have to say anything or us to say anything and then come over to the booth and then make conversation and leave without buying anything. You know how it is.
Yeah.
And, oh my gosh, we were so
nervous.
Dude?
What's up, dude?
We were so nervous. And then all of a sudden, I don't know how it happened, and this is when I knew that Black Ops Toys was a thing. Like that, people would start coming over.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we had crowds of people digging and digging through everything. And you would have people like hold up something and say, do you know what this is and who made it? And my gosh, sure as shit, man, Hot Toys or Toy Soldier, Ace, or whatever was the thing, Dragon. And you know how you know? Because this is plastic, or these have metal buckles, and you just knew every single thing.
Yeah.
And people love the prices. They love the prices. So all the prices that I doubted you on.
Yeah. It was money.
And so I have never really doubted since then. Like, you can ask, you are a font of action figure knowledge.
A font.
I can hold up anything and he can tell me who made it and almost like what figure it came from. And you also know exactly what it's worth in the market.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, we were so busy. And there were so many people that came over and they were so excited to buy parts, talked about talked about kit bashing, talked about their area in their garage or their room, and you were just like so happy.
Most people at the toy show, when they came down to sell stuff, they were selling mints in box. Yeah, and I think only Echo-Base and us were parts, and Echo-Base just had a couple bins.
Yeah.
But we had like 20 bins about that long, that deep.
Yeah.
And people would come in, they were all sorted properly, right? And people would come over and be like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, like we had wall-to-wall people.
We did.
The entire show.
The entire show.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I mean, we went home with things because we didn't sell everything, but it was...
I bought some stuff.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was really amazing, and we loaded everything up. I think we went to Universal Studios.
Universal, yeah.
We went to Universal Studios the next day to sort of celebrate and take Brian and Mike out because they worked so hard. Yeah. And then we started driving back.
Yeah, that was a big deal. I mean, that was a win. Like I remember, like I had this ammo bag, with a sling over it, and I put all the money in it, right? And the magazine pouches would have the different denominations of money. I thought it was so cool.
You did.
I remember we put it all out on the bed, and we counted like almost $7,000.
It was amazing.
We were like, wow.
Wow. Even after that first day when we counted out the money and then the next day, it was remarkable. And I think Loie and Mike were both like also surprised at how amazing the whole experience was. And we loved doing shows. As many as they would have, we would try to go to after that. Yeah. But that's when I knew. I mean, that's really when I knew, like, okay, this is a thing. People love this. I think seeing so many people come and sit and talk about how much creating or kit bashing or finding these rare parts that they hadn't seen in forever, how much it meant to them, I think that was amazing.
Every adult there was a big kid, and they had a smile on their face, and that's pretty darn special.
Yeah.
And a great way to start conversations. great way to meet the community, but fantastic experience,
Yeah.
you know. And I think that that's something that I want again. I would love to do the whole show thing again. I just don't know that it's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think to get to know customers better and get to, you know, share with the community, I think doing stuff like this, I think is where we're going to get to. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I mean, doing this, because we used to do this in person.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's good, right?
That's it.
I think that's good. We have some topics for next time, and I'm sure people will put things that they want to hear more about in the show notes.
Yeah.
And go to the Wayback Machine.
The logo is killer. I loved it. Loved it, man. I was so proud of that thing. And the old website, I mean, in today's standards,
It was pretty cool.
it was, but back in the day,
Yeah, I mean, for what it was in 2008,
so proud.
it was pretty cool. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And then Mike Scram made the Cross Guns logo.
That was really cool.
That one was cool. We used that for a really, really long time until we got the new logo.
Yeah.
But yeah. Alrighty.
So
thanks for watching these, because really we were kind of surprised.
we're surprised that so many people watched it. Can I just do this real quick? Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it. I'm sure they can see it.
How freaking cool is that? All right. So.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks for
watching. Find us on YouTube.
Yep. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon.
Facebook. Maybe. I mean, you know, give or take Facebook. TikTok.
Tiki-Talkie.
Which is new. And then also I'm publishing these episodes as YouTube podcasts. I really don't know what the difference is. If somebody wants to let me know, that'd be awesome. But I also put them in what's like a podcast playlist.
Yep.
So I don't know if you can just listen to the audio without the video. I don't know how it works.
Yep.
But yeah, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for listening. If you like this episode, please share the show. Share it on your social media and share it with your friends. We don't really care how you share it, just share the show. Until next time.